Steve, Justin, can you hear us in the room?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yep, loud and clear.
You're muted if you're talking.
Yeah, I can hear you. Michael, can you hear me?
We solved that, Tracy.
The audio up button, make sure that's set to the Samsung.
This one.
Yeah.
Steve, can you try speaking again?
Can you guys hear me?
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
Just a second. Good start.
All right, so we're. Um. Approval of the minutes. Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can we step out of order and we'll let this fine gentleman go ahead?
Sure, so we're going to move down to new business. The item here is the initial project resolution for Sunbird Sales, and this is an expansion project of theirs. I'm pleased to introduce Mr. Christian Brunel from Dairy here. He's VP over there, and he's made time to come in and address the board to talk about their expansion project intended in the Aurelius IDA Park.
Okay.
Mr. Brunel, floor is yours.
Wonderful. Well, good afternoon, Christian Brown, Senior Executive Vice President of Burn Dairy. Thanks for having me. I'm gonna do it, sorry about the easel, but again, it's probably.
No, that's good. That's good.
Give you a quick background here. What you're looking at here is a survey of what's existing over at Eagle Drive, right across from Johnson Paper, basically across from the Troopers Barracks. It's actually where Cayuga County BOCES is. So I leased 5,000 square foot to Cayuga County BOCES. Right here, this little section over here on our warehouse. The current warehouse is 45,000 square feet. 5,000 is leased, at least for another year and a half to Cayuga County BOCES. They've been there for about 6 years. We own this parcel right here is 5.4 acres. We also own another parcel that we bought in 2014. There's a parcel that surrounds this as well, which is 6.7 acres, but again, totally separate parcel. Same ownership. It's divided by an IDA, actually sewer and water main line that goes right across the property, 40-foot easement across here. So this project today is basically maximizing everything we can out of this 5-point existing place. Maybe in the future, a few years from now or a year from now, we may be coming back for another, something going on there, something separate. But we do want to own the boat, total of, 11 and a half acres. That's what we bought it for expansion. And here I am, 11 years later, finally ready to do this one. Okay, so that's what we got here, 2 parcels. Here's a site plan. I've already been in front of the town of Aurelius for the expansion. Again, here's the existing right here in a white 45,000 square foot warehouse. Again, this is Route 5. I've got Eagle Drive here, Johnson Papers here, just to orientate you guys here. Gonna keep the existing warehouse, of course. This back here, this little jog, all of this, 31,700 square feet will be in addition to the 45,000 square feet. Okay, so that'll be new. As you can see, it's maxed right out to the property line. We're gonna keep all the existing drives out front. All the entrances will be the same. The light gray is gonna remain. This is the only pavement we have to do. This was designed, for Wasco Beverage had designed this for 3 additions, actually. The first one was here, the second one was right here, which they had done before we moved in. And the third phase was actually designed for just this. Why are we doing this? We make Shelby Donuts. If you ever had the Burn Dairy Donuts, they're called Shelby Donuts. They're owned by our company. Actually, it's Mark Burr's daughter. Her name is Shelby. She does exist, believe it or not. That bakery we have is in Court Street in Syracuse, Court Street Road out by Carrier Circle. We've outgrown that building. So we've also outgrown our warehouse. I opened my 78th store yesterday in the town of Greece. Soon to be 79 in 2 weeks in Morrisville, with probably 7 to 10 more next year.
That's great.
I noticed coming up 17 on Sunday, like every exit, you see like a Burn Dairy logo.
The
now.
green roof.
Like, that is so smart.
Yeah,
Like you're.
we got them all through the Finger Lakes now. I just
Yeah.
got one approved 2 nights ago in the city of Batavia. For
all
this
these
West
little
River Bend.
towns, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we're doing very good. Family owned business, 90+ years. I've been there, I'll be going on 28 years.
Wow.
I've built 78 of them. I think I've done 77 of them. So I've been around for a while. I've done a few plants. So it's a good story. So what we're gonna do is we ran out of space out there. We always knew this. So we're gonna move our Shelby Bakery employees into this space. Out of the 31,000 square foot space, about 10,000 is gonna be bakery. Okay, 28 employees that will be in there from the bakery, okay? And we have 20 existing here today, okay, just in warehouse work. So the way I put in my application is we plan on growing that minimally. We've always been very conservative on our numbers from all the plants we have. 16 employees in the next 3 years. That's being very conservative. As a company, Burn Dairy and Sunburn, we have over 2,000, close to 2,000 employees today. We just announced another big addition down in Cortlandville, another 100,000 for another processing milk plant. So we're in an expansion. So 28 coming from Syracuse out to here. The rest of the space, we might as well build it out when we're doing it. So we're gonna add about 20,000 square feet of warehouse space there for the future store development. Again, that'll max this whole entire site out. Very minimal. We don't have to do the parking. You know, it's very cheap to do this now.
Yes, yeah,
Overall, I say cheap, but the overall project's about $8 million.
oh, wow.
Yes. Why 8 million? A lot of equipment. So we're going from 1 bakery line, to 2 bakery lines. So inside this facility within 10,000, we're about $2 million worth of manufacturing equipment for donuts, believe it or not. And food service equipment. And the lead time on that's 5 to 6 months. Life expectancy for our 1 unit out there is about done. So it's, again, timing is perfect. You can see the sales tax I put in front of you guys was about $3.7 million is taxable. So that would mean the sales tax savings for us around $300,000, which is pretty significant. Okay, asking for a pilot as well. Also asking for a waiver for employment. Bakery is very specialized. So right, I have contractors listed here. I got Hayner Hoyt. All my contractors are from Onondaga County. Okay. The Cayuga County thing is 65% is very tough to meet, especially with specialized. We've had this bakery open since 2014 for 15 years. All these contractors have worked on this bakery equipment and whatnot for, 15 years.
Right,
You have Hayner Hoyt, everyone knows Hayner Hoyt. They have been with us for over 50 years. I think they've built 4 or 5 plants now. Another contractor we've had him on board with us for 31 years. So these are long-term contractors. I did some quick math and, almost all of the employees are from Onondaga County. There are some that will be from Cayuga County. My electrician Beacon has already said he's gonna pull from the union, from the, let me quote it, the IBEW 840,
yes,
which is the local union. He said when he pulls from the union, he will also put on record that he wants employees working here to live in Cayuga County. He says he can demand that. Okay, so we're gonna do that. My plumber, Onondaga County plumber, a smaller gentleman, again, he's worked in my bakery forever. I've talked to him. He actually get all of his materials from this job will be coming from VP Supply right here in Auburn. So all the materials will be supplied locally as well for those guys. But I wasn't gonna sit here and fictitiously tell you guys that I can meet the 65% requirement, because I don't think I could do that on a daily
yeah, it's
basis.
tough.
But again, they're all local. They've all been long-term Onondaga County from Oswego County.
So what is the timing of the whole project again?
As soon as I get approval from the IDA, the town of Aurelius and the county, right now, we're being optimistic, we already ordered the building because of the lead time. So I would like to break ground on this in around May 1st with move-in around November.
Oh, great,
Yes,
great.
I want to beat the weather, we want to move, and we can do that because we have it up and running now, so we have to do this over a weekend. Literally move everything over a weekend. We deliver, our warehouse right there, the 45,000 square foot warehouse, delivers groceries to 78 Burn Dairy stores. Okay, 5 days a week now. So we can't shut it down. We can shut it down on a Saturday and Sunday only, but we can't stop making donuts 7 days a week. So this move is gonna have to be done, the baker's gonna have to be done within 24 hours. The warehouse within 48 hours.
So
Mike,
they're deliver the groceries with the donuts now?
No, we will keep that's gonna be our goal someday, is to do both them together. But right now, logistically, that's another reason we're doing this. You see, now we have loading doors here, whereas we're using little vans in our Syracuse building and loading them by hand. Again, the bigger we get is, it's
Yeah.
not advantageous to do what they were doing. Eventually it will happen, but right now we're gonna keep the two separate. Okay, but eventually, with the space in here, we will move to doing that all, it'll be a commissary all in one. It doesn't make any sense to go to, especially now being 79 stores. Our goal is to have 100 stores here within the next 4 years, which we will meet. So at that time, we can get some efficiencies, and that's why, like I said, the other property could come into play as well.
Mike, what was our rule around the local content?
Local labor policies, so.
Yeah.
There is a waiver which the company has completed for this project here. We had put in over this last year a mitigation plan specific to renewable projects only. So that is the reason for their application for the waiver today, similar to what the Aurora had presented to us last year, right around the same time as many of their contractors they've been working with throughout their build out and expansion projects within Aurora. Longtime contractors, specialty, not within the area.
Mhm.
But we had at the time, as part of the waiver request, is also trying to keep track of the amount of local labor that is being utilized throughout the project.
But there was a buyout.
Only for renewable projects at this time.
We're doing one in Cortland County right now. We just announced we're doing 100,000 square foot another milk plant down there.
Yeah.
And we're dealing with their IDA at this time. They don't have any requirements to stringent, not even close, neither does Onondaga County.
But ours was neighboring counties too, though. Right?
Go ahead.
There is a clause in there that says neighboring counties, but you specifically have one that says 65% needs to be Cayuga County and not adjoining. Adjoining would not be the problem, but it clearly says 65% Cayuga. Other ones do have that exact word in there, adjoining. So that's where you can get, right? I would not have a problem, Oswego and Onondaga I'm loaded with. But very unique. My attorney, my in-house counsel caught that right away. He's like, this is, 65% from Cayuga counties. Tough to meet.
Yeah, we had a lot of concern about the solar guys coming in.
Yes.
And they don't provide jobs afterwards, and then when they come in, they don't provide jobs.
Yeah, they come right in, they're there, they're gone.
Yeah.
They send a ghost
Out of
to-
town, out of state county, I'm sorry. Aren't they typically out of state?
Yeah, it's
Something.
typically the groups from Tennessee or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, Florida's a lot of them.
So I think we would be more amenable with this.
I think it would be helpful, similar to what we did with the Aurora last year, is outline the number of jobs you would be looking to procure within the adjoining counties. And that would be more palatable for the board to take in moving forward. But based on what I'm hearing from the board here today, it's certainly open to moving this
Right
along.
here, I'm looking at over 70% from Onondaga, Oswego, and Cayuga.
Mhm.
Adjoined to.
Yeah. I think that's.
I'm fine with it.
And, I mean, this is great development. What do you think, Donna?
It is great development, but I wanted to ask of you, because my memory is failing me, with what we did with Aurora, I mean, any concession with us approving the waiver of the 65 as to, because again, the goal is about.
Again, what we did with the Aurora is we asked them to memorialize what they were committing to from the local labor perspective, including adjoining counties and surrounding counties, and to be reporting to us on every 90 days
Okay.
of where they were in meeting those goals.
Okay,
Is that
But
amenable?
Yeah,
that's perfectly fine.
okay, all right.
Again, I already got my electrician to commit to the,
that's
electricians, which is a
great.
big, to the IBE. If he puts a demand into them, if they can't meet it, then we would try with Cayuga County, but I guess he said you should be able to get those. He told me there'll be 6 to 8 electricians on site when this is really going.
Yeah.
So, so he's gonna be pulling 6 or 8.
Right.
I talked to him this morning to confirm that he could put it, I guess it's called, he can put on record that he wants the Cayuga County. I guess he can do
That
that
would
with the union.
Yeah, so then, with the reporting stuff,
Okay.
yes, I think we should be,
So we'll adapt the same
yes.
That's good.
as we-
practice.
And that's a form right in our application. I can
already
follow
saw it.
up with you on that.
Is there anything else you need from us?
Nope, also asking for a pilot, but that'll be worked on at a later date, I'm sure.
Right, and just to clarify, they're asking not just for a pilot, as part of this application, but sales and use tax.
Yes,
as well. So, and based on their timing there and my discussions with Justin, we feel we can certainly get this done over the next couple of months.
Well, the building's ordered, so we better.
I know, I
That's,
said.
it's, lead times now are crazy.
Boy,
We're just being proactive, you know, kind of.
But I think everybody's favorable.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, for the formal part here, it's either Justin or Tracy remind me is reading through the IPR. It doesn't have to be done in full, but at least the initial section, right?
Yes.
Reading through the IPR.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Just at the top.
Remind me which section, because I always forget. The stop part or over here.
And just the top section, in capital letters is fine. The full resolution's in the agenda and before the board. So if there's a first and a second, that should be enough.
All right, let me read through this. We'll get motions and then do a roll call vote.
Mhm.
Okay. So resolution by the Cayuga County IDA, for one, accepting the application of MC Owasco LLC and Sunburn Sales Inc. with respect to a certain project as more fully defined below. Two, authorizing the scheduling and conduct of a public hearing with respect to the project. Three, describing the forms of financial assistance being contemplated by the agency. And four, authorizing the negotiation of certain agreements relating to the project.
Make a motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Ben Vitale.
Come on, it's not here.
Oh, I don't know why I was looking at Bob.
Whoa.
Holy shit.
I mean, the bus early is
Mr.
fine.
Bob Shea.
Wow,
Yes.
that's cold.
Oh my
Holy.
God.
John
moly.
Latnick is absent. Ray Lockwood is absent. Ms. Donna Adams.
Here, and yes, I vote for yes.
Gina Spino.
Yes.
Mr. Andrew Rhineflesh.
Yes. And the ayes have it.
Steve. Thank you very much. Looking forward to working with you.
Awesome, thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.
All right, so let's go back to bills and communications.
Pretty typical set of bills this month, nothing out of the ordinary. The only update since the original packet went out is that we did receive 2 pilot payments, which were added to the disbursement packet for distribution to the taxing jurisdictions to make sure that we stay within that 30-day window for disbursement.
Very good.
Hi.
Question.
Oh, I looked at it.
Right.
Make a motion to accept
Bet-
it.
Or pay the bills.
Pay the bills.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Mike?
All right, as always, we have my written report with
Yeah.
within the package here, the high level updates to share with the board. As a reminder, we do have a scheduled special IDA session for March 6th. It's 3:30. I believe I've heard back from mostly everyone at this point. Not John quite yet. I think he's still out of the country.
I didn't respond either. So what is everyone able to make that time? It's gonna be difficult for me, but
What, you didn't respond?
I did.
Did I respond?
He
Yes,
did.
Who else didn't respond? You?
I responded.
I responded.
I respond, she's the good kid in the class.
So everyone can make that day?
I believe so.
Okay.
It's
Is it
important.
virtual?
There will be a
Virtual
virtual option for members to call into. I think it's really important that the full board is there in person. If not, please call into it. So we have some high level items the full board needs to be briefed on, and because of our shorter group today, that's why we're looking to have that at the beginning of March.
Okay.
Reminder that the key topics to be discussed is going to be around office space options that we've received. And I can touch on that briefly later. on the agenda here, Wells College itself, as well as countywide economic development. So three
And
big,
that's March sixth,
yes.
at 3:30.
Yes.
Great.
All right. Report of the treasurer.
In your packet, you have your standard monthly board or monthly financials. You can see that, you know, the interest that came in January was a nice chunk, about $5,000. You paid your chamber membership dues in January. And then you had your contract and administrative services for Michael and MRP Group. And, you know, everything else, again, is pretty typical. There were some expenses related to Michael's attendance at the EDC conference. But it's all outlined here, all in all, pretty good shape for the beginning of the year. And then I will just note that the auditors are currently, right now, working on CCIDA's audit. And I've been sending them information that they've been requesting. So far, it's looking pretty good. They are trying to work through all of the sewer stuff, because that's the complicated part of your financials right now. So I'm trying to provide as much documentation as possible for that, but that is underway at this moment, and we should be on a good track to have that draft for the March.
Thank you. Unfinished business.
So this update, as previously mentioned, is to be discussed in greater detail at the special IDA meeting, but what I can update the group here is I've had the pleasure of visiting 2 or 3 different spaces with Gina over the last month or so here, on top of other options within the last couple of weeks themselves. What Gina requested is that all potential spots for us to consider submit a letter of intent so the board can fully understand what the proposed terms and lease options should be. So we have 2 outstanding right now to be reviewed at the March 6th meeting, but we have 3 or 4 in right now. I will say that the predominant going rate for price per square foot is about 17 to 18. There is one that is for 12 though, that I just reviewed, but it's again, wholly dependent on 2 or 3 different things. And it's part of the reason I think this is really important for the full board to sit down and consider what is in the best interest of the IDA at minimum for this next year here. So we'll be sending all of those items around ahead of the March 6th meeting.
So, and I'll add to that, I think that, you know, there might be items we can still negotiate with any one of those. So,
It's a good thing Gina's been there. 'Cause
well, I don't know, if, you know, if they're gonna change their rent per square foot, but there's other things that possibly we can. So we can get offers the best options, especially if it's a space we really like, we want to be able to have an option to stay too.
Right. And we don't have any idea what CCDC's.
So
Do
the discussion throughout all of this here has been with the mindset that CCDC and the Small Business Development
Right.
Center wants to co-locate with us. What I've heard directly from CCDC is that they are willing to put up monies for the space that we're looking to choose. And
Oh, great.
and I believe in a separate conversation I had with the new chair is that they would also be willing to reimburse the county IDA for any appropriate expenses dedicated for economic development. And I would say office space would count towards that.
Right. That's great.
So.
That's good.
And I will say is once we do get a space, we then have the next item to cover, and that's going to be furniture and fixtures.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna have.
What are you using at home now, Mike?
Oh,
Me?
No, I just. Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
I think like some of that is gonna be, I mean, look at, there's so much Not that you probably want used furniture, but there is so much office space furniture everywhere that we probably could find something. I worry, more about your copier and phones and, I mean,
Right.
there's that kind of stuff.
We are going to need that. sort
Yeah,
of
all
stuff.
of that kind of stuff, and you're gonna need to make sure you have all the tools that you need.
Are we thinking about being that there is going to be a with CCDC, considering it as well as you said this small business development? What was the other agency you mentioned?
Just those two.
Yes.
So the Small Business Development Center really doesn't have any funding to alleviate any of that
Okay.
pressure there. A lot of what they seek is in-kind service support. It's CCDC we're going to be looking at to say, we're providing space and other amenities required for you to do your own business. So what's been going through my mind is we will, get a printer lease, a commercial printer lease. We'll build that into an agreement with CCDC to say, we're sharing space, same equipment, pay us X per month as part of a shared cost.
Right, and when you're doing that sort of sharing things, it's like you have to be mindful of the fact that we expect them to pay towards things as well. They're gonna be in the space as well, right?
Mhm.
So whilst we can have great plans about if we'll buy this furniture or not, but do you think it might be a worthwhile effort to also include them in some of that? So, maybe we take the lead on purchasing this or leasing that, and they can do other things. What are your thoughts?
I'm certainly not opposed to that. I think it's wholly up to CCDC and their board, which I think is meeting tomorrow. So maybe that's a good question for your board to consider as part of that. I know we're not quite there ourselves because we haven't that's settled on a space.
Right.
We also don't know, depending on the space that's elected, do they have furniture and fixtures?
Right,
We can use
yeah.
that, provide.
But also,
relief.
some of the spaces have room for growth and some don't really.
Right.
So that's the other thing we were looking at.
Right.
And locations are kind of like fairly all over, right? The
Yes,
variety, so.
yeah,
So a lot of things are still undetermined, right? So we
Yep.
have time to discuss it. I guess by the meeting on the 6th
Mhm.
in March, I guess we probably feel more confident as to where we are. And then we can soundly say this is what we're gonna do versus not.
right.
And I don't think we want to get into arguments over nickels.
No, we're
No,
never gonna
no,
do
right.
that.
No,
So,
no, to me, any conversation we have with CCDC is, this is at cost.
Right.
We're not making money here. This is.
no, I mean, we should just come up with something that's fair
Yeah.
Mhm,
to everybody.
right.
Mhm.
I don't-
Right. Yeah, we're not trying to gouge and,
Absolutely not.
I agree.
all right,
Is that okay? I don't mean to single Tracy out, but knowing that's in your wheelhouse of boards.
Yeah, no, I think that is the expectation of CCDC is that it would be, like we'll pay for our fair share of the square footage and the use of the space. And I can say that we do have our own phone now,
Yeah,
so.
I mean, that's all
Well,
detail stuff that
but
you can work out in
other
some
than
kind
that,
of an
yeah.
agreement, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's the expectation on their side as well, is that it would be. We'll pay for our usage.
Right.
in the
Right.
space.
right.
very good.
And what I've seen historically, it's like. You don't want to spend $100 trying to divide up $10. Okay, what's new business, Mike?
Okay, so we have already gone through the IPR for Sunburn sales. This next item here,
We were all here, Mike.
I know,
Well,
I think just a matter.
Except Ben.
Mr. Shea.
With-
Give them an update.
I would say,
Oh.
probably just for purposes of the regular meeting to say, what is the general report and feedback from the governance?
Yeah, we went through the mission, the bylaws and so forth. We really didn't make any changes to that. We went through the questionnaire. The only thing we noted was there was only out of the 7 board members, only 4 responded. Everything was pretty favorable on that. So what we're suggesting is in the future, we'll review the questionnaire right in the board meeting. So we don't have to try to track down those remaining. And it's funny too, because historically, you usually get a good response, but. But I think that'll resolve that if we do it right in the meeting. Anything else, Don?
I think because we know it's so beneficial to our organization to really hear from everyone, so yeah.
Yeah,
I know we're getting yours later today, sir.
but I thought that was pretty good.
Mhm.
All right, Mike. Renewable energy,
Yes, so this has been a item we discussed a little more at length back in 2024, but today is more of just the official resolution that amends our uniform tax exempt policy that specifically takes a look at renewable energy projects and memorializes within our project application and our UTEP policy that for any renewable project in question, we will work with soil and water in assessing where the project is intended to build, defining whether it is prime farmland versus non-prime farmland, and that will dictate what we charge per megawatt for those projects there. So not a major addition to our UTEP here, but after we had discussed this as a board 2 or 3 times last year and taking a look at what another IDA in a rural part of the state is doing was felt that was helping to encourage development in less desirable areas like brownfields.
all right. We need a vote on this.
We do. Justin, on this one as well, where would you like me to read?
Capitalized section.
Just the top heading is fine.
Just the top heading?
Yep.
Okay. So. Resolution, the Cayuga County IDA. Adopting amendments to the agency's uniform tax exempt policy, also known as its UTEP.
Make a motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Here none, roll call, please.
And Tally is absent. Mr. Robert Shea,
Yes.
John Latnishin is absent. Ray Lockwood is absent. Miss Donna Adams.
Yes.
Miss Gina Spino.
Yes.
Mr. Andrew Reinflush.
Yes,
Resolution passes.
all right.
Formally updated.
Do we need a executive session for anything?
I would make the recommendation that you do to discuss ongoing contract negotiations.
All right,
Make the motion, enter executive session.
Second.
all right. All those in favor?